Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Sassy Latte here. I am going to finally do one of probably the most requested videos that I've gotten in regards to my makeup, and that is my foundation routine. So many people ask me what I'm using, how I apply it, how I make it last all day. I've been to the beach with my foundation on. People have seen it get wet and they want to know how it stays put. So I'm gonna basically divulge all of my secrets that has to do with anything foundation related. So if that is of interest to you, if you're one of the many people who have asked me questions about my foundation routine, keep watching. If you are not yet subscribed, please, I don't know where it's at. Is it up or down? Click subscribe and comment below if you have any questions about foundation, or if you have any recommendations. Like if you watch this and you're just like, we could tweak it, we can make it better, comment and let me know, because I'm always in the mood to try new techniques and new things. So let's get into it. My hair is on scruggle. So I normally don't do my makeup with a wig on, but like I said, the hair it's a mess today. So I'm gonna tie my hair back first, get it out of the way. So all the products that I'm using today are good for sensitive skin. I have very sensitive, acne prone, dermatitis prone skin. So all the products that I'm using today don't mess with my skin. That's not to say that they won't mess with yours, but they don't mess with mine. First thing I'm gonna do, I just washed my face. I'll do a morning skincare routine. Mine is hella minimal. I'm going through some hormonal acne right now. I normally don't wash my face in the morning. I used to wash it at night, but we've got things happening, so I'm adding a little extra cleansing to the routine. I'm gonna add this Luminance Rose Water Toner. This is the mini travel one. Just spray that on. Ooh, yes. I don't like to put a lot on my face before I do my makeup, because I feel like the more you put on your face, the harder it is to get your makeup to stick to your face. I see other people doing oils and all this other stuff. I try not to do that because my skin is naturally very oily, but it's also really sensitive. So when I'm wearing my makeup, especially if I'm gonna wear it for a long time, I try to minimize the amount of things that are gonna be all over my face for a long time, and also try to minimize the things that are coming between my skin and the makeup, so that the makeup will stick to my skin for a long time. So I'm just gonna give that a fan. I do not have one of those cute fancy fans, but I'm thinking about getting one. You know, some people have the electronic ones where they're just and dries their stuff, and then some people are and they, you know, like that. So now I'm gonna go with this Kiehls Ultra Facial Cream. That's it. Sometimes I'll do the toner, sometimes I won't, but I always try to moisturize. If I don't moisturize my skin, even though it is super oily, what ends up happening is I also get really dry, and so my makeup will crack in places. So I pretty much just do a toner and moisturizer, and that's it. I'm not sexy or anything, you guys. I just throw it all over my face. I don't even care. But shout out to the people who do make putting on moisturizer really sexy. I'm just not one of those people. So I don't put a whole lot on. I just do a pea-sized amount, so my skin is moisturized, but not so much that the makeup won't stick to my skin. So I use the Veil Hourglass Primer. I don't know if this is a lot or not. It's a little bit more than a pea-sized amount. And again, I don't really care. I just put it all over my face and neck. I have to do my foundation all the way down my neck so that it all matches, because I wear a lot of low cut and revealing clothes. So my foundation on my face, I'm trying to get it to match my chest, but my neck is actually darker than my face and my chest. So it's kind of this middle segment here that I need to figure out how to match everything surrounding it. So I put the primer on my neck because I'm gonna have to put makeup on my neck. In the summertime, I probably use twice as much because this is really mattifying. And when it's hot outside, it's I don't really sweat, I just get oily. And this Veil Primer kind of helps with that for sure. So I put that on. It's a cream, so it doesn't really need to be dried. Okay, so this next part, this is if you want your makeup to last. Now, I skip this part if I'm not going out. If I'm just going to Instagram, I don't do this part. But if I'm going to the radio station or out to like dinner or something like that where I know I need my makeup to stay put for like several hours on end, I'll do this. This is the Kat Von D Like Lock-It Setting Makeup Mist. Again, this is just what I do. I just spray a little bit on. So after I have primed my face, I do my concealer. I think some people do like their brows and their eye makeup and everything first. I never do. I just need like a complete clear, perfect canvas before I start painting it. I don't know if that's like the artist in me. You prep your canvas and then you create the art. Part of creating like a perfectly primed and prepped canvas for me is getting rid of all this acne scarring, discoloration that I have, and like my two-tone forehead, all of that. I like to use the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in the shade Cool 39. The Cool 39 is a little bit closer to like my actual like foundation color. It's a little bit lighter than my foundation color. So I'm not really using it to like brighten my skin or anything. I'm literally just wanting my foundation to like look good. For me, if I'm not careful, sometimes my scars, especially when they're like this dark and fresh, they'll show through my foundation and it'll look like just like gray dots underneath all the foundation and everything. So it's really important that I try to like conceal as much as possible. I like this because I don't have to waste any product. I can just pretty much just dot it on most of the significant scarring. And then I have like some melasma. I've got all the things happening. I've got hyperpigmentation, I've got melasma, I have scarring, I've got like a giant, whatever that is, beauty mark thing, more scars. I know, it's just a mess. And my forehead actually was scorched one summer, and I've had like a two-toned forehead ever since. It's awful. I hate it. So I like to like even out like this arena, because then when I put my foundation on, it'll all look seamless. Whereas if I don't and then I put my foundation on, you'll kind of, it won't be as distinct as it is without foundation, but you'll still be definitely be able to see the line. So like two-toned forehead thing, and then my eye bag, my Chanel, my Louis Vuitton, my Versace. I gotta get those under control because it's pretty terrible. I love this concealer. It's really thick. Once it dries down, which I don't always take the time to let it dry down. Sometimes I manage my time really well. I'll put it on and then like I'll go pick out my clothes or whatever, get the rest of my makeup. Since I'm in my bathroom, all my makeup's in another spot, it's not in here. So I'll go pick out whatever palette I want to use and give it a chance to dry down. But I don't always do that. That's really just depends on how much time I have. I will tell you this, if you want like long-lasting foundation and you have a lot of discoloration, a lot of like acne scarring, things like that, if you use like a really thick concealer, try to let it dry down as much as possible, because I just feel like even if your foundation is shifting a little bit because of like, you know, sweat or oil or just being on too long, you'll still get a little bit of coverage over like the dark spots and everything, which at least for me is ideal. I've got to get me one of those fans. I kind of just blot it down a little if I don't let it dry completely. And as you can see, like I said, it's pretty close to my skin color. My foundation is just a little bit darker. A, because my neck is so dark. B, because I do have so much scarring and skin discoloration. It's just easier to work with a darker foundation because that's going to blend just in case anything does happen to peek through my concealer, which, you know, shit happens. It's really important that I kind of like blend this part out because I don't want to go from a two-toned forehead here to like a two-toned forehead in like another shape from the concealer. So then I do my foundation. So I choose my foundation based on color range. It has to have a color that matches closest to my skin, and it has to be something that I am not allergic to. I've tried a lot of liquid foundations, and some of them are like pretty good, like, you know, and don't cause me to break out. But other ones, it's like the undertone isn't quite right, or once it oxidizes, I look like an Oompa Loompa, which is not cute. Or it's like the shade is like almost but like just something that I can't tell is off. Like maybe I look a little ashy or gray or whatever. So I like Becca Cosmetics. This is the Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. I've been using this for like the last 4 years. Again, I'm not allergic to it, so that's huge. Like obviously that's the deciding factor if I'll go forward with the foundation. I like the shade range. She actually just added I think like 12 deep skin toned like nuanced shades, so I'm excited about that. I might be trying a couple of different shades just to see if they match even better, although this one is like perfect for me. It's just a neutral milk chocolatey color, and as you can see it's just a slightly darker than my skin, but it's like a good middle point for my acne scarring and my neck, both of which are darker than my skin on my face and my chest. I use this all the time, but what I realized last summer was that it was like too thick, because this is full coverage, which I like because I got a lot of scarring and discoloration, but it was so thick, and we have been having the most global warmingest summers, and so I just felt like this was like just caking up and sweating off and got really oily and sweaty. And so I now mix this in the wintertime with the Becca Cosmetics Skin Love Weightless Blur Foundation, which is just her lightweight foundation. This also, I think it's like lightweight, but it's like also full coverage somehow. I don't know, it goes on really well. It's just, I need something that's a little bit more like moisturizing in the winter, so I mix it with the full coverage, and then in the summertime when it gets hot AF, I just stick with this only. I just use the same brush. This is an e.l.f. Cosmetics Ultimate Blending Brush. I love cheap brushes. I do not treat my brushes with any kind of care or compassion, y'all. I just do what I gotta do and move on with my life. I just put it on the brush. I do 3 squirts. I'm gonna use a lot more than that, but that's what I start with. And I kind of just lightly distribute it everywhere. I kind of work in circular motions and like a stippling motion at the same time, just depending on like where I'm at. I don't want to rub and pull on my eyes, but, and then, so like here, as you can see all the texture, I feel like when you pull your makeup over texture, like textured skin, it just looks really bad. So I kind of stipple that point. But like here, on my nose and whatnot, I just rub there because like who cares? So that's kind of like the first round. So I'm gonna put 3 more dots, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start adding in some of the Weightless Blur. So as you can see, they both match. I am using the shade Espresso in both foundations, and I kind of just do the same thing. So that's on my forehead, which is clear, so I don't have to like really stipple there. And then under here, I literally just go like all the way back. And just blend it all the way down into my chest, pretty much, on my shoulders. Because, as you can see, for whatever reason, my neck is just so much darker. And I want it all to blend and be flawless and seamless. So, for whatever reason, that like mole or beauty mark, whatever it is so hard to conceal. So I never rub that spot. I just do that. Blending is really important, but I don't like dragging the product around. Once it starts to dry, at that point, I'm just stippling it in. That's really important. I think that people keep dragging their makeup once it's dry, and then they're not getting the like coverage or textured look that they're expecting. It looks streaky instead of smooth. So that's the first step. I'm pretty particular about making sure it's covered because the primer is blue. It looks very blue on me, so if there's a spot that doesn't have foundation on it, you can really tell. So I try to be as particular as possible. Like the little areas like around my eyes and my lips, and then like here. I don't like putting foundation over my eyebrows because I just use a powder. I don't use a pencil or like a drawing pen, so I never put foundation over my eyebrows. And I don't really like putting it on my eyelids either because my eyelids are so oily. Like, I just wash my face and they're already trying to like crease and be oily. So that's just another one of those things where it's like the less you put on your skin, the better chance of the makeup adhering to your skin is gonna be. So now in this moment, I go back to this again. So I put it on before I did the liquidy concealer and the foundation, and I put the setting spray on again before I do my powder. I'm gonna spray my neck a lot because, you know, you do all this and you want your makeup to stay put. Once that like is kind of dry, it doesn't have to be perfectly dry, I use another e.l.f. Cosmetics brush. This is the powder brush. Both of these brushes were like $6. I just get them at like Target, and I use the Cover FX mineral powder, and it's a pressed mineral foundation, and it's in the shade N100. I could probably go like one shade lighter, but again, I just feel like this matches really well. So with this, the powder, I literally am just pressing it into my skin to like set the liquid. So I never do that. I just feel like, did you see that? Like literally this line. I think like this is where the airbrushing magic comes in. I realize I use like a lot of this, but again, I want my skin to look as airbrushed as possible. I have a lot of texture going on. I do edit my pictures, but you can't edit real life. So when you go out and you still want to have that like Instagram sort of like, I don't know what this is here, but you know, this sort of like smooth, velvety, you know, photoshopped look, this is what I do so that I look that way in real life as much as possible. Again, you can see that this is just a little bit darker than my foundation, but anything that might pop up after the concealer, after the foundation, this is gonna get it. All right, so now my foundation is on. I'm gonna spray myself again. I promise this bottle like literally lasts me like, I don't know, like 6 months. So I'm just gonna spray one more time. And after I've done that, like usually my foundation is like pretty set. So I'm gonna quickly just do my brows. You guys can watch me do them. I will do a couple of brow tutorials. I'll do one of like just how I do my brows, and then I'll do another one of how I do like my colorful and or glitter brows. I won't go too far into detail about that now, but I'll do it some other day. So I am gonna contour my face just a little bit. This is what I like to use. Honestly, I will literally use any palette that I have that has like a dark brown or a black in it. So today I'm going to use the Perception palette, and I'm going to be using these two colors here. Oh my god, my palette's so dirty. So I'm going to put this color here in my brows, shade, and I'm going to contour with Played Out, this dark brown here. Okay, so I'm not super serious about my contouring. I kind of just chill. I use this Real Techniques brush. It's old AF. It came in a set. All the other brushes have died. This one is a survivor, and it's still with me. So this is more of like a day-to-day look contour. When I go to Instagram, this is much darker and much more prominent, but like y'all, I live in Kentucky, okay? I don't live in New York City or whatever. So people are usually not walking around super snatched and super contoured here. So I don't need to be either when I walk around. I just like to create the illusion of like a little bit more of a chiseled, cheekbony situation. So when I first started contouring, somebody said go like this and do all that. I just say do whatever you want. This is just what I want to do. This is what works for me. I'm definitely not trying to tell anybody else what to do. And I'm just building it up. Don't ever start too dark, you guys. I just build it up. I'm also really cheap. You can buy a contour palette. I used to have one. I spent 40 bucks on one. I've spent 40 bucks on like a few different ones. My favorite one that I've used is a cream contouring palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'll try to remember to link it below. And then also I used a Tarte Cosmetics. It came out with a contour palette. They did a collaboration with MakeupShayla, and it was for dark skinned people. That was my all-time favorite. The Anastasia Beverly Hills ones is a cream contouring palette, so blending in is a little bit different, but when it dries, it stays really nice. It's just that it was like 40 bucks for like 6 pans, and I only used just that darkest shade because this is pretty much all I do. I don't do like the baking and all this other like facial sculpting stuff. I don't do any of that, so it just felt like a waste of money for me. Now I just find like the like darkest brown shade and just go in with it really light and just build up a contour like that. And so I've paid 16 bucks for this palette. I think this was 16 bucks. And in this palette alone, I've got like a color that'll be good for contouring, brows. I've used this as a blush. I've used these as highlighters. So that's kind of how I buy my makeup now. It's like, how much usage can I get out of a singular palette instead of spending $40 for like one part of a palette and then not using anything else. So now that's done, I'm just gonna kind of brush up my brows. And this is at Eco Tools Spoolie. This is an Eco Tools brush as well, but like it looks a little wonky because the end of it got frayed, and like I took some scissors and like cut it back into an angled brush myself, like with like a little DIY angled brush. I don't know what this brush looked like before. This color that I'm using has like some like glitter in it, but I don't think it's gonna show up in my brows. And yes, I consider, like, in terms of like foundational stuff, I consider brows to be part of it. I used to never do my brows, and now it's like if I do like the rest of my foundation, I feel like I just look weird if I don't do something with my brows too. Like, it doesn't feel complete. And I like to make my brows like way more prominent than they are, but I always start by filling in what I got, and then I kind of start to overdraw them a little. And again, I'll do like a full brow video where I talk you guys through exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll do like another one where you guys can see how I do colorful and or glitter brows. So I'm gonna knock out this other brow real quick. I just feel like my face looks more complete when I do my brows. So I'm gonna finish out my brows all the way, kind of like carve them out with a little concealer, make sure they match, and then I'll finish up what's left of my like foundation situation. So the next thing that I do after I've got my like brows tamed, I like to do my highlighter before I do my blush, because I kind of blend my brush into my highlighter. And I right now pretty much only use the shade Pose from Colourpop. It's a loose highlighting pigment, and this one is like for darker skinned people for sure. It's kind of got like a little bit of a rose gold sort of tint to it a little bit, but it's definitely for darker complected people. I like it because I just feel like it's so pigmented. Every time I use it, it's like pop, pop, pop. I'm using this Real Techniques brush. I had another brush, and why did that brush mold? I didn't even know that was possible. Look at that. I'm just a little touch, and we're already glowing, like literally glowing. So I love this shade. I just think it's so much prettier than pretty much everything that I own, but I also just love that a tiny bit goes a very long way. So I have to be careful, you know, when I'm just wearing this out in the day. It's great for Instagram because I have a hard time getting my highlight to really show up. Whoa, this is an Instagram situation. This is real life. Oh my God, it's okay, it's fine. We'll just keep blending. And if need be, we'll just take some of it away. But also, the truth of the matter is I'm actually going to Instagram, so. But if this happens to you when you're using a loose powder, just take your foundation brush or sponge and just stipple it a little to calm it down. And then take a deep breath and try not to do that again. There we go, much better. So I just think that this is just, for my skin tone, like the best glow. I like to put a little on my nose. Only when I'm going to Instagram. I typically don't put it on my nose like if I'm going out in the day. But like I said, I'm going to Instagram after this, so it works for me. After I have that on, then I really like to do my blush. I like using the Becca Cosmetics Mineral Blush. I use the shade Dahlia. They used to have all of these at my Sephora and now they don't anymore. I used the blushed copper for a really long time. It was beautiful, but I broke it and this is the only one that I have left and they don't have the other ones anymore. This is just another e.l.f. Cosmetics brush and I kind of like do that. I like just flushing this whole area. That's just the way that I do it. I just feel like it gives me like a little bit of color, especially if I don't plan on doing like a lot of other makeup. And it's still really cute on the cheeks too, but it's not like overwhelming. When I'm going to Instagram, I put like 40 pounds of blush on because I want it to pick up in the cameras. And I don't want it to be subtle. Sometimes the lights can wash out those, like, if it's too subtle. So this is my foundation routine. Like, that's literally all I do is just set the stage for longevity with lots of setting spray and lots of primer. I think that the airbrushed flawless look really comes from taking good care of your skin as good as you can. Mine is going through it right now. You can definitely see the texture and you guys already saw the scarring. And also I think like technique matters a lot too. So instead of rubbing things against your face, like, you know, in that motion, I just do like a lot of stippling and I try not to put a whole bunch of like skincare products in between my skin and the foundation so that it'll last longer. So let's pull this off. Okay, let's not. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm ready to just go to the grocery store and just be super basic. No eye makeup, no lips, no nothing, but the skin looks really good. It's glowing, it's got a little color to it. And I know that this foundation will like stay on all day. This is something that I would do if I were like going to the beach and I didn't want to look haggard or tired. I would do just the foundation, a little bit of color, a little bit of glow. Anyways, that's all for this video. If that was helpful to you or if you liked it or whatever, please give it a thumbs up. Again, if you're not subscribed, please join the community. Get subscribe, click, whatever. If you want to see the full makeup look that I'm doing today or others that I've done, consider following me on sassy_latte on Instagram. And if you want more chill makeup looks and also 1-minute speed up tutorials on how to do like minimal makeup looks, you can follow my other page, which is at loveletters.ganymede. Wait. It is at loveletters.from.ganymede, the planet, the moon, from the expanse, yes, because I'm a nerd. Other than that, I hope you guys are having the best day that you can, and I'll catch up with you next time.